Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and I am an English major working on my master's degree at the moment. And I've officially finished reading Everybody Knows You Go Home. And let me tell you, this was not the book I expected it was going to be. It was a great read. It was so good and I recommend it, but it was a lot more sad than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was gonna have a good, fun time with magical realism and Mexican culture since I am Mexican, but it was a lot more heart-wrenching and realistic. So this book covers a lot of the themes of border crossing and what immigrants go through as they try to make their way into the United States. I was born here and thankfully my parents are now, they're both full citizens, but they've never really shared their stories about what it took for them to get here. So whenever I hear stories about border crossing, it's usually from books. And I always forget how intense those stories could get. And this one was one of them. I highly recommend Everybody Knows You Go Home by Natalia Silvestre. I would recommend checking trigger warnings if you could find them online. It is a fairly new release, so I don't know if they will be out there, but I did manage to finish this on Sunday. I started it Thursday night and I finished it on Sunday, which is a record for me. I would have finished it on Saturday, but Friday and Saturday was a lot busier for me, so I couldn't pick it back up until Sunday. Now that June is around the corner, I figured I'd do a June TBR list. And the first book on my list is The Hummingbird's Daughter by Luis Alberto Urrea. And this book was originally in my TBR list for my thesis. However, it came out in 2014 and I wanted something a lot more recent. Trying to find books from, I think my limit was from 2018 to today, so I could really just work on more newer books to, really make my point across of what I'm trying to argue in my thesis. However, this book is very important to what I'm working on, so for some reason, I just couldn't pick it up, and now I'm kind of forcing myself to pick it up. So I am getting ready to go to a show tonight, but I also wanted to give a quick reading update. She's working on it. She's a slow start, but I finally made it past the point where I originally stopped the first time I picked up this book, so that's a good thing. And also, it's finally gotten interesting to the point where I want to keep reading. I'm only 54 pages in, which is not the best, but I did move past the struggle portion of it. And yeah, I guess that's my reading update for today. So I am in a state of what I like to call a concert hangover. My body hurts, my brain hurts, and I am slightly depressed. If you know, you know. So I actually have not picked up a book Monday, I think. But I have read multiple comics from the app Manta. The current comic that I just finished is No Love Zone. And I can't think of the author's name, but I'll put it somewhere so I could give them credit. And it is one of the cutest stories I've read so far. And I'm gonna count it because did I spend hours of my life invested in this romance? Yes, I did. Was I blushing the entire time? Yes, I was. Was I physically reading speech bubbles? Yes. And if graphic novels count as reading, then online comics or online mangas also count. Webtoons, that's That's the word I was looking for. So I at least did read. Not the book that I need to read, but I did read. And that's what, that's what counts. I've been thinking a lot of like why all of a sudden this interest in wanting to, I guess, document my reading journey. It's interesting because I realized that because of my undiagnosed ADHD, all throughout my undergrad, I had a weird relationship with reading. Every time the semester ended, I would leave burnt out from reading that I didn't want to pick up another book after that. But by the time the next semester started, I was re energized and excited again to start reading, but because it was really hard for me to juggle different books, and I felt like I didn't have enough time to read for fun. I only focused on the books that I needed to read for school, and then I would get burnt out again, and basically the cycle would continue over and over again. And it also didn't help that I had a full-time job as well. Yeah, I was technically part-time, but I basically worked full-time hours. So I was just dead by the end of the day or tired by the end of the day, and it was really hard for me to pick up a book because I was already reading. I was already obligated to read another book. I came across a YouTube channel by the name of Allison Pages. I loved her energy. I've basically binged all of her videos up to the 2 year mark because that's my personal limit of finding YouTube channels and watching their past vlogs. I've basically seen all her videos, and like she just sounded so passionate, and she just sparked this newfound interest in me of wanting to read for fun again. And the beautiful thing is that as per my last vlog, I won't have a job in September. Like my last day of having a job is August 30, whatever the last day of the month is. And that will be the first time in a long time that that all my free time will be devoted to just books. Like, yeah, I'll be in school, but the other half of my free time won't really be invested in working. It would be invested in reading. And I just got so excited, and well, I am so excited. I loved reading when I was younger, but once I started really focusing on my major and realizing that I wanted to do literature as a career, it just became a chore because I was taking 3 classes at a time, and all 3 classes I had to read 1 to 2 books at a time. So that's like 6 books all at once, and it just became too much. There are so many books that I had to DNF while in school, and basically spark noted my way through my undergrad. Hi guys, editing Laura here. What I want to try to clarify is that while I was in school and undiagnosed, my executive was very much dysfunctioning, as I like to say. I was experiencing really bad moments of executive dysfunction and ADHD exhaustion, executive dysfunction and ADHD exhaustion, which made me not want to pick up books anymore or actually want to read for class. God only knows how I managed to get my bachelor's degree and even make it to graduate school, honestly. The only books that I know I did finish reading were the ones that I dedicated my essays to. So once I knew that I didn't really need to pay attention to another book, I just needed to survive for like discussion grades, I would just spark note the hell out of them. And I'm really excited that at least for this semester and until I could go back into my PhD program, I feel like this semester I could actually focus on more than one book, especially if one of those books is fun reading, without burning out. I don't know. I went into like this long tangent because I'm still trying to collect my thoughts, but I'm just so excited I can't wait to see how many books I could read by the end of the year, basically. I am going to include the ones that I read for my class because I'm still basically reading them. But just throwing in fun books, you know? I want to fall in love with books again. Not only to finally find something that I have a passion for, but also to not let me resent all these years that I've put into school. If that makes sense. Happy Wednesday.
And she let you come up north without explaining all of this to you first?
Not exactly. I didn't tell her I was planning on coming up here.
I recommend you send for her, assuming that you'd like to stay alive.
Fine.
That'll be 100 cents.
Seriously? It wasn't even that good a cup of coffee.
They promoted you!
Yeah. Hey, that's great. Congratulations. Why are you knocking down icicles?
If they have you doing something like this, then that means
They've taken you off the career track?
Good morning. Today is Thursday, and I wanted to give a quick reading update. The Hummingbird's Daughter. I finally made it to part 2. Again, I know it's not a lot, but it's going. I feel like it's actually picking up a lot more now. I've adopted Allison Page's style of doggy earrings since I can't find my tabs. And basically all the doggy ears are anything that I could use for my thesis. It's picking up. It's actually getting pretty interesting, but it is still kind of a slow read. We'll see how part 2 is. I don't think I'll be able to read much today. I work from home on Thursday, so I am working, and then also I have a lot of editing to do because I want to try to keep up the schedule that I've been doing of uploading twice-ish a week. I don't think, depending on how the video turns out, I don't think I'll be able to read as much, but my goal is to try to get to part 3 by the end of Sunday. So we shall see how that goes.